Hi, this is the second part of a 4-part series. In the first part, we created a new vendor, and this was the first part of testing our procure to pay process. In this part, the second part, we're going to create a purchase order and goods receipt that purchase order. We'll do some validation on the purchase order, and then we'll run back the test so we can see. So we'll be using Executive Automats, test automation tool, to carry out this part of the process. So let's get started. Here I've got Executive Automats open. We'll go to AP, which is our project, and scripts. And we actually already have one here for create the purchase order and goods receipt. That should be empty. Yeah, so this is an empty script, so we can use this one. So we'll start recording our process. So let's click start and record. So the application should load, and it will log on with the default user. Okay, that's our application loaded. So if we click on the record button, now Executive Automats is going to record each one of our steps as we carry out the process. So let's go to purchase orders, accounts payable, or purchase orders. And we'll create a new purchase order. So first we need to add a vendor account. And we're going to use one that the automation tool has created in the past. So we can search on our vendor account, and I'm going to go for vendor 2 and select that. Okay, that's added our vendor. We can see the general tab is already open, but I would want to close that and open it again, as we don't know whether or not that would be open the next time the test runs. So there's two ways of doing that. First one is I can just close the general tab and then open it again. And this step here of hide, I can just remove and delete directly from the script. Of course, I could have just paused the recording, closed the fast tab, and then opened it. So we have our purchase order number. We're going to want to save that as a variable, so we can use it either later in this script, or we can use it across different scripts. To save the variable, I'm going to click on the picker. Here we can hover over the purchase order number, and we'll give it a label of get value PO number, and we'll give the variable name as PO num, and then we'll click create. So this is now saved that purchase order number as a variable. Let's turn off our picker. Okay, I think that's everything we need for the purchase order. So I'll click OK. Okay, so now we've got our purchase order lines. We'll add an item number. We'll add the first one, the Surface Pro. And we've defaulted the site and warehouse we have a quantity of 1 and a unit price. So we want to go down to our line details. Again, I'm not sure whether or not this file tab is going to be open when I run it back. So I'm going to pause the video here, or the recording. I'm going to close the line detail tab. I'm going to start the recording again and click on line details to open it. Next we want to go to setup and give our PO item sales tax group, and we'll select all. That should be everything we need for our purchase order. So let's save. So the next step is to confirm our purchase order. So if we go to purchase and click on confirm. So it confirmed OK, and we can see the status is here as confirmed. So I'm going to do some validation on this status because I want to know whether or not it gets confirmed. So again, we can use a variable, and I'm going to hover over the confirmed and save confirmed as a variable. We'll give the variable a name. And we want to do some validation on this. You can do it directly from this create the inspect step by clicking on create with condition. So here we can have this condition that says we're going to inspect this value of confirmed. We can either continue or log and continue. We will continue here. If it's not confirmed, we're going to ask it to warn us, and we'll put not confirmed in here. So this will validate that when we confirm the order, it actually changes the status to confirmed. Okay, that's fine. I think we've got everything we need there. So the next part of the process will be goods receipt in the PO. To do that, we'll go to receive and click on our product receipt. We'll leave all the parameters as default. So on our line, they're asking for a product receipt. Product receipts have to be unique, so we'll just put any numbers in there, and we'll come back later and make that unique using the sequence number. We'll give the document date of today, terms of payment of say net 30 days. We can see our lines at the bottom here. We have a quantity of 1 and we're going to receive the same quantity of 1. And we can click OK. And the operation is complete. Now we can see here the status has changed to received. So again, I'm going to validate that. And the process is exactly the same. We'll click on that. Value received. We'll save the variable as received. And we'll do our check with a conditional. When we add the conditional, you can see here at the bottom it gets the value, and then it adds an extra step of doing the validation. I think that should be everything we need. So we've created the PO and we've goods receipted it. So let's save our record and close. And that should be everything. So now we can stop our recording. Okay, let's close the window and we can review the steps. So in here we can see we've got our get PO value that was saved as that variable. And as we move down, we've got our confirmation. Here we've got our product receipt where we had to put in product receipt number. Now this needs to be unique. So we're going to use a sequence number. So every time it puts in a unique sequence number. To do that, we're going to select picker, sequences, and we have a sequence here for product receipt. So next time it runs, it will put in a sequential number. Then we have our document date. We set the document date as today. Obviously, if this was run on other days, it will put the same date in. So we actually want this to always put in today's date. And we can do that by adding a little bit of code, some advanced code, so it always puts in today's date. So let's click edit on this step. And here you can see we have an advanced code option where we can paste a little bit of code. So I'm going to paste some code in here. This code enables us to change dates in the past and in the future. So at the moment on the second line here, this would then put a date in of plus 30 days from today. If it was minus 30, it will put in obviously minus 30 days from today. In our case, we're going to put 0, so it's always going to put today's date in. That's fine. So that's we'll always then put today's date in. Everything else seems fine. Okay. We should be able to run the script back now. So if I select start, play, and we'll play it in the foreground, and we'll play it in the current window, and we'll look at the steps as they go through on the left hand side. So let's click run. So Executive Automats will open up the application and log in with the default user in the default environment. So our script should automatically start running. So first we are going for add a new purchase order, and we'll put in our vendor account. To save some time, I'm going to speed up the playback in the recording. Okay, so that's our script complete. It's been run back and every step has passed. So let's close this and go back to Executive Automats. Here we can take a look at the history. Here we can see the last run here finished and it was successful. We can drill down into the details and it will show each step that was played back and whether or not it was successful or errored. Here we can also see things like the data that was put in. So again, we put in this vendor account, and we can see things like the variables that were saved. So again, this saved this PO number as a variable, which we can then use later in the script or across other scripts. So that's our completed purchase order and goods receipt. So let's change the status of this test, and we'll change it to ready for review. Now, one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the script again, but this time I'm going to run it in the background. So if we start play and we play it in the background, we now have the option to generate some documentation. The options we have is we can generate a document, which is a Word document with each step and screenshots. We can also create a video of the process, and we can also create both. So I'm going to create both of these. The video will only be saved when it's on success. So we'll click run. It will be dispatched, and this will be run on the EA server in a Chrome web browser in the background, so you can carry on with any work. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video there just while it's running in the background. Okay, so I think that's finished now running in the background. Let's check the history. We can see now it's been run again in the background and it completed successfully. So let's look for our documentation. So here we can see it's created a document and a video of the process. So let's download our document. Open. So here we can see the document. We have some header information. And here we can see each step that the system went through. So go to purchase orders, click new, and you can see it's created the screenshot and even highlighted the area that you need to click on. It's extremely good for training documentation and for assisting testers when they're testing the system. So that's our document. We can also have a look at the video. Let's download the video. This may take a little bit longer to download. We'll open the video. Here we can see it's created a video of the process as we went through it. Again, very good for training or given to SMEs to help them use the system, get more confident in the system. Okay, so that seems to work okay. So I think that concludes creating our purchase order and goods receipting. So this has been part 2 of our 4-part series. In the next part, we'll invoice our purchase order, and then in part 4, we'll go through and link all these scripts together to make a complete end-to-end process for our procure to pay process. That's great, thanks for watching. If you need any more information or you'd like more information, or even a demo on executive automats, please do get in contact. We'll be happy to help. Thank you.